Okay, euro dollar. Haven't looked at this in a while. So we got bullish structure. I mean, price is still above this moving average, but and then it pulled back. Nice retracement, but seems to be struggling to break higher. So it's kind of just ranging right now and consolidating. Doesn't really know what it wants to do. Price did break below this 4-hour moving average now and has remained below it. Did make a lower low. You can see lower highs, lower lows setting up here. And because of the momentum switch on the other euro pairs, I would be more inclined to sell this, possibly. Now, that would be counter trend trading. I do remember looking at the dollar index yesterday, and it was pushing up a bit. So there's a chance that that's going to, if the dollar index pushes up and it gains, it gains value, then it's going to push this pair down. And with the other euro pairs losing it, with their trend switching, and so like with the euro going more bearish overall and selling off, that's also going to bring this pair down. So I am actually looking for a short position. Now we have to restructure this entire, because originally when I started this month, I was, price is bullish, right? It's way above this moving average. So at the start of this month, I was picturing a buy, but now I don't know as much. I mean, you can see that. I'll delete this. So a couple things. So price is having a tough time breaking this zone, and it hasn't. And then you have this candle that came down and pulled back up. This little this bear candle here. Actually, going to delete this for now. So yeah, this price come down. Price came into the zone, pulled back, and now, but this has made a higher low. So this structure is kind of, it's all over the place, because you got higher highs, and then you got lower lows. So it's kind of conflicting right now. You can see some mini zones setting up here, right? And price is below this 4-hour moving average. So price came back up, pulled down, then found this mini zone, which is below this zone, and has yet to break this area. So, but then you have this mini zone here. So as far as euro dollar goes, I don't really have much on it right now. I mean, I feel in my gut that it might be a good short soon, but you'd have to go against this moving average, which I don't really want to do. And if you're looking at the segment of price from here, like, it's made higher highs, it hasn't made a higher low yet, it hasn't broken below this area, and so I don't really feel comfortable shorting it yet, but I really don't feel comfortable buying it, because it hasn't even broken this area here. The other euro pairs seem to be selling off. The US dollar seems to be getting stronger. So there's just too many things going against this pair to even want to buy it. And so I would say right now I'm pretty flat. I don't really have a thought with this one. If we look at our higher time frames, yeah, last month was super, heavily rejected. So it was rejected above $1.10. So that kind of tells me this might break. And you can see that there was good support here. Well, there should have been, and price broke it and then closed below it. So this area of support now, well, because it was broken, is now going to function as resistance, and you can clearly see it is. So that's another reason. I mean, and then you had this area here previously. So even back in March 22 here, like 2022. So this little zone here should have held price recently, but it didn't. It broke, and now it's closed below it, and it's continuing to close below it. So on a longer time frame scale, but again, you still have higher highs here, so higher highs, higher lows. So structure is literally in between changing directions right now. So you got like you got your longer term trend, which is bullish, you know, higher highs, higher lows. Did touch this moving average and pulled back though, so that's a little iffy. And then on the smaller time frame, so like relative to the weekly, this daily is, you know, has made higher highs, higher lows. So as well, but I mean, it's in areas where price has heavily sold off previously, back in like 2022, and then in early May, and then yeah, price broke below that again. So now I don't really know. It is definitely switching. So as of right now, what I would consider, this is only theoretically considering this, moving these down a bit and anticipating a short position for the month, but we don't know this yet. So our high for the month is about 110.5. So we'll adjust these so they are even here. I'm looking for a short position. Now, whether or not I take it, that depends on a lot of things. So I'm in no rush to take this short position, but it is something I'd be considering, just because of all the factors I mentioned. Price, the biggest one being this one, guys. So like price does not, like if you look at last month's candle, this one here, look at this rejection. And then, you know, you can see wick here, wick here, wick here. So like price does not want to close above 110 on the monthly. So we know that. And then you can see it's had all month and it can't even break this zone. Like this is the, you know, this is August 1st right here. For the last week and a half, it can't even go up like, what, 30 pips? Like it can't even close 30 pips higher. And it's had 10 days. So, that tells me it's really struggling on the upside. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go to the downside, but it's really struggling on the upside. And so you got a zone here, but you know, once that breaks, like I mean, obviously it'll go to this zone, and then after that you're looking at this zone, so which would be in our monthly range. So that's, you know, this is your 400 pip monthly range, and I do think it's within it. So I do think this is totally possible, this position for the euro dollar. For me to actually take this, I would have to see more significant price structure. So lower highs, lower lows. So price probably breaking this zone would do it for me, because then you would have this. So you'd have this, down, and then this. So something like that, price way below this 4-hour moving average at that point, that would demonstrate that this is probably a good short position for the rest of the month. So yeah, that would all have to take place. You are going against this moving average, but I do think with the US dollar pushing up, I do think with the euro overall selling off against all the other pairs, you know, the Aussie, the Kiwi, the CAD, I do like this position, to be honest. But I'm going to have to wait for price to close below this 109.12-ish area kind of thing. Break this zone. Like, it's got to break this zone. This zone has kind of held it all month so far, so it's got to break this one. I'm not interested in being in a ranging position, so like if price is just going to bounce between this zone and this zone all month, I don't want that either. I want price to break this zone and signal to me that it wants to go lower, and then eventually break this zone and head to our main target of the month, you know, this 400 pip range for the month, and target this area here at 106.5. So that's my take on Euro USD. I think it is a good short play relatively soon, but it's going to have to break these zones, and then I'm going to have to counter trend trade it, which don't love, but as long as the structure's there, I'm willing to take it. So right now this is a higher high or a higher low versus this one. So again, I don't like that, and I need this to break this to signal that we have some lower lows after this. So, and that structure has completely changed. And then yeah, price would be below the 1 hour as well, and you can see the higher lows setting in, or the lower lows, sorry, setting in here all the way down. So I do like the setup, but just got to wait a little bit longer for Euro USD to hit the right position for me to take it. the right setup below this zone here, below 109.12, and then I'll be looking to short that.